Taylor here with Agri Drones. Today we're going to do a little bit of a demo on how to run 2 drones in the field. That is 2 EAVision J100s off of a trailer running side by side in the field. We'll show you guys how to set up on the map, how to do your field splits, how to make sure you're staying safe with your settings, and then some of the few features that we've added to this drone over the past month or two. So we got Trey up here. He is actually started to run right now. That way you guys can see what his drone is doing while I'm getting mine set up. Normally when we go to the field with 2 drones, we would, of course, set one up first, send it out there, and then wait about 2 minutes or so, and then launch the next one. So I should be launching mine right about now. But I just want to show you guys on the screen everything that we have to do to kind of get these things set up. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn my screen recording on. Okay, so here you can see on the screen, I've got my Google Map imagery. I've got my location, my remote's location in the blue, drone's location on the ground right down there, and then our home point is where I took off from. That home point will reset whenever we take off again. So we've already got our field mapped and here into the system. You can see right there, we actually have 3 different fields, this entire boundary, and then our splits. And I'm going to show you guys just real quick how to make a boundary on here. You can do this a bunch of different ways. Well, if we go into fields, we hit new field, we input our name. So I'll just type in test, confirm. We give it a landform, so basically, is it flat? Is it very rolling? Most every time we're gonna do a flat field, just because even if it says, if you select flat, it's still gonna follow terrain. The J100 has really good terrain following. You can select your crop type. For us, we don't worry about that. We keep our records separate from the remote. We'll hit next, and then here we can make the boundary either with the drone and the camera, just like on here, or we can switch back over to our map screen and we can just do what's called hand draw, actually using the crosshair right here that you see. So we can use our Google Maps and actually just drop in our points that we want. We can make obstacles, or right here's a no spray zone. So if you have a waterway through the field, then we can add that and dissect the field with that no spray zone, and then it won't spray right there over that area. We do the same thing with obstacles. I actually select normal obstacle, and we can drop that in here. And then we save it. Now it's going to ask us if we want to correct the field, so we can hit correction. It's actually going to cut out that corner because an obstacle takes up the entire corner. All right, so that's how you map a field. Now, we're going to back out of this. And so on this field here, you can see that I mapped my demo 2 field right here. This is our entire field boundaries. Trey's spraying that side of it over there now. So to get it separated for 2 drones, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either map 2 separate boundaries, or you can map 1 boundary and split it, which is what we'll do right here. So if I hit this button here, I hit divide, then it gives me my entire field boundary, and I can mark 2 points, and we'll cut that field in half just like that. Hit done, there you got 2 separate fields. All right, so now we did that, we actually have demo split 1 and we have demo split 2. Demo split 2 is what Trey is on. So I'm gonna select my demo split 1 for my drone here. And we're gonna hit operate. And actually I'll go back. Before we do this, it's always good to check your settings. So we're gonna go in, make sure we've got intelligent jumps turned on. We've got our obstacle terrain following, that we want that turned on. We're going to leave our bypassing off so we can fly fast. Manual H avoid is turned on. Spray settings are good. RTK settings off. Spray settings, there's a new feature in here actually. Since we have this disc type selected, we're going to make sure that it is selected in the remote. And our battery settings are good. We'll let Trey come back. So Trey's manually bringing the drone in right now. You can take over manual control on the J100 at any point in time. All you have to do is flip a rocker switch in the top left of the remote. This is a manual landing. So he's gonna drop his remote, grab a fresh battery, and start filling up. All right, while he's doing that, we'll check the rest of our settings. So a new thing in here in the J100, you can actually set it to either automatically determine whenever it should come home with low battery, or you can override that and just make it warn you or make it return at a specific voltage or specific percentage. Flat field, no crop, so we're gonna just do warning only. All right, we'll select our demo split. 1 again, hit operate. We'll select our template, 2 gallon per acre. We're going to run a droplet size actually of 400. 2 gallons per acre, operation height, I'm gonna run 12 feet. Operation speed, we're gonna run 45 feet per second. And we're gonna enable terrain following, disable obstacle avoidance to and from the field so we can fly faster. We're gonna increase our height to and from the field, 30 feet. Go into our route. We're gonna add a safety point here because we're going that way, so we wanna fly around the umbrella here. So we're gonna come over here and we're gonna add a safety point right in front of us in the into the field. Drop that point, so hit that point first and then go to the start point. Now it drops the start point as close to the drone is currently as it can. We don't want that. We want to start on the far edge right over there. So we're gonna hit start point. When you hit start point, you can actually select any point along the field and drop it in there. Trey's gonna go ahead and take off. We'll let him run before we keep going here. So the J100 actually keeps GPS signal in the brain of the remote. So you can see on his screen, he's actually got, he should have all of it. He never lost his GPS signal while he was switching batteries because it actually keeps the brain powered up. This is all autonomous flight that Trey's doing right now. Okay, let's see, let's check the rest of our settings. We got our safety point added. We got, we're parallel to this boundary. We can actually change our reference boundary. Just make sure we're parallel to that boundary over there. We can do a corner spray, no corner spray where it doesn't spray on the corners. Turn the spray off. We do want to spray on the corners on this field. So right here you can see we don't have any, there's no border pass. Turn our border pass on and then it's gonna do one border pass in the interior. We can hit that button again and do boundary only. And then, this is a new feature here, we can actually select how many passes around the boundary we wanna do. Then we got 5 passes. You can go all the way up to however high you wanna go. And we'll just consecutively run those in. So I'll do the outside and the next and the next. And then another cool one here, we're calling it the toilet bowl. Nobody else has this right now. But you can see you do the same thing here. So we'll do 5 passes, hit confirm. There you see it's gonna do 5 passes around the outside and then the center of that field. So you can do the whole field, but it's gonna spray around the border first. Okay, we're gonna just do back and forth. Everything else should be good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring this drone up to the top, load it up, and run it. This is manual flight, manual takeoff right here. I'm just flying the drone up to the top just so we can load it up with some water. Need to exit out of this here. Oh, it saw an obstacle back there behind me. You can see on the screen here, it sees that obstacle right down there. That's because we took off with the truck behind us. So it is being overly cautious. So we'll turn off our manual H avoid, that way we can bring it up top. All right, we're good on battery. We got about 90%, so we're just gonna fill this drone up. The faster pump you have, the better. These are 12-gallon tanks in the J100, that comes standard. Our pump right now is probably pushing about 15 gallons a minute or so. So it'd be great to have a pump that was pushing a lot more than that, because it takes about 45 seconds right now to fill these tanks up. Meanwhile, you swap the battery and your battery's booted up in less than 15 seconds. So if we had a faster pump, we could actually cover more acres and decrease our cycle time. All right, that's good enough. Okay, everything else looks good. We're still in the right point. We're gonna hit new operate. Make sure Trey's in the right spot. Switch over to autonomous mode, hit takeoff, hit confirm. It's loading everything that we set here in the remote to the drone. Yeah, it's saying the water pipe is empty. It should self-check here. We let it spray out last time. We'll just hit that, hit our sprayer real quick. Clear the trapped air. There we go. All right, so it's purged now. Hit confirm. Swipe right to take off. So this drone's gonna go out and touch our safety point. You can see on our map right here, it's gonna hit that 0.1 right out there. That puts it inside the field boundary. And then it's gonna turn and it's gonna go to our start point. It'll do the same thing on the way back as well. This just makes sure that we're not overflying our operators and we're operating safely. So there it is, it hits its 30-foot mark out there, and it's gonna drop down before it starts spraying. There's dropping down to 12 foot. We don't want to start spraying at 30 foot, otherwise you start having wind drift and everything. And there it's taking off. And it's spraying. You can see our flow down on the bottom. Probably kind of hard to see. You can see there it's coming out. We got 4 gallons a minute coming out right now. Speeds 46 feet per second. Here we go. Now it's just cycling. We just keep running like this continuously. One drone down, one drone up, one drone down, one drone up. Now, go ahead, Trey.
We're already on the way back, cycling through.
There you go. Yeah, Trey's drone's coming back right now. So we set this field up just to show you guys a few different things that these drones can do. Right here on my screen, you can see we've got a no spray zone marked in the middle. And you can see as the J100 flies, it actually paints where it applied. There, Trey's landing the drone manually again, coming in manually. We kind of like to bring drones manually in on the trailer. A, you have a bit more control, so you know when it's coming down, where it's coming down, and you can manipulate that with a 6. And B, keeps up your piloting skills. You can operate pretty much without ever flying these drones, but if you do that, however, you're going to be a good pilot. So. All right, so there you see the drones flying. If I zoom out here, you can see our drone's location still. You see our location still. You see our empty tank icon right there. So it's actually gonna it's gonna go down, back, and then on the way down again, it's gonna run out. Now, typically when if you're operating like this, you might wanna bring it back on the close side of the field. This is a half-mile long run, but it's a half-mile long run with a no spray zone right there, which means that we're not doing a complete half-mile worth of application on each pass. So we're gonna get about 2 full passes and about another 3/4 pass. Now, if you wanted to adjust this, let's say that you wanted to adjust your speed, your height, your droplet size, your application volume, just so you can make it a bit further, just in case you have a little bit of range on what you can apply. We can come into operate, we can hit our settings up here, and there we have all of these parameters adjustable. So we can change droplet size to 300, hit confirm. That's going to put out a smaller droplet. There you can see it's putting out a smaller droplet right now. You kind of see that mist coming out a bit more. Bump it up to 400 or even 500 if you've got problems with drift. And then you change it to 500, you can see our pattern's changing right out there now. Tray's taking off again. Your battery charger keeping up, Tray?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Yeah. So these chargers here, this is the new style J100 charger. That's the old style right there. They actually have the same exact power and functions. This one's a bit smaller form factor. We actually have the fans turned off right now because if we leave them on, they're super loud. I'll turn this one on right now just so you can hear it. There it is. Great for cooling the batteries, not so great for shooting videos. So we just turn those off while we're shooting these videos. All right, now my drone's coming back. This is really kind of a perfect cycle scenario where his drone just started spraying, my drone's on the way back. They're staying away from each other. We're giving ourselves plenty of time to get back up and running. Yeah, so all these parameters here you can change in flight, your target volume, your speed, your height, everything like that. And actually, when we get back home and we land the drone, I'll show you how you can change a few more things as well. All right, time to focus. I got a pilot now. I'll let this one actually come in autonomously. That way you guys can see what that looks like and how you can take over manually if you need to. But here it comes in. This is 45 feet per second coming in, so it goes pretty quick. And we're gonna switch over to manual now. And now I'm gonna bring it down myself in manual. Really nice to have that control where you can let it run autonomously if you want it, take over manually whenever you need it. All right, switch out the batteries. This battery's done. So before you pull your battery, it's a good idea to turn it off. It's just a long press and a short press. Pull that battery out, put this battery in. Same thing, long press, short press. There you can see, if I would have a faster pump, we'd be done filling by now, be back over there, we'd be taking off. But it's just that 15, 20 seconds. So you can see our nozzles here. We have one disc on these nozzles right now. That's the standard single disc without the outer disc on it. You can swap that out for a different inner disc for even larger droplets. Throw our battery back on the charger. That'll start charging automatically. Jump over to our remote. We're gonna switch back over to autonomous, and you see our system's ready. We can go ahead and take off right now if I wanted to. Before I do that, I wanna show you one thing here. So if we don't want the drone to go out here to start spraying again, then we can come in here, we can hit start point. We can actually tap anywhere again here, and it's gonna start right there. I hit confirm, I hit takeoff, and now it's gonna go to the close side of the field to start spraying instead of going to the far side of the field to start spraying. Swipe right, we're good to go. There again, it's going to hit that safety point, turn, and go to the start point. I'll switch to my camera view so you guys can see this. One thing I forgot to mention whenever we started on the setup, when you're running two drones in one field like this and you have your remote side by side, the J100, the J100 is signal dependent on your remotes. So you lock your signals in before you take off as far as like what signal you're using to communicate with your drone. So I've got mine on 5.8, Trey's got his on 2.4. And so that way our signals, aren't interfering with one another and we're not disconnecting out here in the field. You can see I'm keeping connection, Trey's keeping connection. I've still got camera control. Trey's still got camera control. Still see the map and everything. So that is a key tip whenever running two drones, to make sure you do that. We got tutorials on how to do that on our Knowledge Hub. We'll let Trey come down and land. Takeoffs and landings are the most critical time to pay attention whenever you're running these drones. That's when the drone's really close to you. That's where mistakes can happen. You never want to trust it 100%. Stay behind your wall. Make sure everyone else does as well. Make sure your props stop spinning before you go out there and launch. Yeah, so there you can see our drone actually went to our end point, and now it's actually starting from this point here and spraying its way back now. A really cool feature on the flight efficiency resumption, the intelligent flight efficiency here. Let's see. Trey's grabbing the battery that was in there last time, and he's throwing that back into the drone. So these chargers can keep up on basically, two batteries, cycling two batteries. It is best, however, not to do that and to run 3 batteries on a cycle. Basically, one in the drone, one in the charger, one on deck, either cooling down, waiting to go in the charger, or waiting to go in the drone. That way you're not overexerting your batteries, getting them too hot, especially when it's hot outside. There's no need to, to cycle 2 batteries if you've got 3. One thing I should mention is, like, on the battery settings and everything, we've got a lot of control now. Whenever EA, first brought the J100 to the U.S. market, we switched it from Chinese firmware to U.S. firmware, and there was a few things that kind of got lost in the transition, and there's a bunch of bugs that actually came up switching to U.S. firmware. I'll wait until Trey launches. So what we had to do there, beginning kind of in January of this past year, or this year, is, okay, we'll go through, figure out with this US-based firmware, what got lost, what are the bugs, what do we need to fix, and that's what we did. So one of those things was on the battery voltage and everything. We didn't have all these settings, and actually the one setting we had didn't work 100%, so it always come home whenever it hit 48 volts. Well, now you've got complete control of your battery voltage. You can go anywhere from 46, to 60. That same thing on your percentage. You want it to warn you or return to home, or do that all automatically. And that's what EA had, is they had it set to automatically by default. You couldn't change it. So that was a big improvement that people here in the US want complete control, and that's what we've got. That's the same thing here. So if you want to stop the drone right now and fly it manually, flip this switch, and now I'm flying the drone completely manually. You can see my camera there in the bottom screen. I'm flying the drone completely manually right now. And if I wanted to start in this position, instead of go back to where I left off, then all I have to do is switch it back to autonomous mode, hit my point A, hit confirm, and there it's gonna go to that point A and start spraying from there. There it goes. You've got a bunch of options there. You can go to the end of the field and return. You can slide over and return. You can return back where you left off. All right, we're gonna hit return to home since we're close and we are about empty right now. This is again an autonomous return to home. So you saw us set our swath width to 32 feet. Now, how is the drone getting 32 feet swath width whenever it's not 32 feet wide? We rely on what we call prop wash vortex. All right, I'm gonna land this drone before I continue here. Bring it down manually. All right, let's fill it up. We've got a fresh one here. Turn our battery off. Swap out with a fresh one. The J100 actually doesn't have latches on the battery. It relies on the weight of the battery itself. Since we have terminals on both sides, that centers the weight over the terminals in the center of both terminals. We don't have a terminal here and pulling it like that, so we don't actually need latches on these batteries. One less part to fail, and just a little bit quicker to pull out. Not that much different than if you had a latch on your battery. But the cool thing about it is we separate our positive and our negative terminals. All right, this battery's just finishing up right now, so we'll let it keep finishing. We're going to hit takeoff, hit confirm. It's loading everything to the drone. Yeah, what I should have done is I should have canceled my safety point because they're right next to each other. That's all right, we'll let it go to the safety point. Yeah, so what I was talking about was we rely on prop wash vortex, to create our swath width. And so I'll try to demonstrate here is actually I'll go to 300 microns, hit confirm there. You might be able to actually see that on the drone as it picks up speed. You're gonna see those droplets go from downward actually to outward moving droplets. Maybe I'll decrease it a bit more, hit confirm. There you see. I had the smaller droplets are easier to see, even though they drift better or drift more. There you see that prop wash vortex happening where the droplets are coming down out of the rotary atomizers and then outward, but then the vortex or the prop wash is blowing them down, but that air is cycling back up into the props. It's just a massive amount of air, so it doesn't just go straight down, it actually cycles back up and it pulls these droplets with it. So the faster you go and the higher you go, essentially, the wider swath you're going to have. We did a bunch of testing using what's called the string die method. Use a third party to do this with us. And what we found is, well, a lot of things, but essentially we've got a max swath width on the J100 of actually up to about 36 feet, 37 feet, depending on what nozzle you're using. And a minimum of down to about 16 feet, depending on what nozzle you're using and how fast you're going. But general rule of thumb is if you are flying at 23 feet per second or faster, you're using these larger discs and using a larger droplet to a certain extent, you're going to get between 28 and 32 feet with some overlap, of course. All right, we're going to change this back up to 400. Hit confirm. All right, man, I think we covered about everything. We've got a bunch of other videos that kind of explain how everything else on this system works. The LiDAR, the terrain following, the spray system, our swath testing. This is really just to show you guys that yes, you can run 2 J100s off of a trailer without losing signal. You can cycle them, you can keep up on your battery charges. You can knock out a bunch of acres. These things are so fun to fly. Just wait till it's July and it's about 100 degrees out, and then I might think differently. Trey, you got anything else to add?
We're rocking and rolling.
I'd say
Smooth
so.
as butter.
It is. I tell you, once this software in the J100, I mean, for knocking out acres and getting stuff done, we've gotten so much stuff added here now to make that simple, effective, and efficient. I love this thing. I'm looking forward to this summer.
Absolutely. Me too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we got, guys. If you have questions on this drone, if you want to see a demo for yourself, then give us a call, let us know. Happy to help you out. See ya.